we got the car back, and we weren't super happy with the fenders that were on here. I wish I could show you guys what they looked like. Basically, they were just cheap fiberglass over fenders, which we weren't super in love with. The bodywork just wasn't that great. The fender actually came down over to the bumper here, and they had it like, you know, bondoed to the bumper, and it was cracking on this line, it was cracking on the line that was connected, and it was like that on the front bumper, obviously the other rear bumper. So they just like seemed like they were going to crack off. What we think happened is someone tried to roll the fenders, and they did a really poor job. I don't know if you guys will be able to see any of the body lines. Yeah, you can see, sorry, there. You can see this one here is like, there's a slight divot up in here. So that's kind of one of the problems that we had that we didn't really care for. And like, they're rough. I mean, it just didn't look very good. They didn't take their time. As you can see, we're doing a little bit of block sanding here. That's why there's a couple of these like holes in the paint that we had. Just, I don't know if you guys will be able to see the detail on this, but just a lot of specks in the paint. I mean, just spots like that. Again, I don't know if you can see that too well. I mean, none of it was really done well. So that's why we decided to do what we're doing. So right now we have the ducktail off, rear bumper, tail lights. I guess you call it license plate shroud. That's off. Fenders obviously came off. Like I said, a little bit of sanding here. We have the headlights out. We have the bumper out. I believe that's it for right now. Obviously, we don't have an engine in here. So let me see if I can get this open. So no motor, no trans. We do have a trans for it. So I'll go ahead and can I? No, I believe that's up in the attic right now. So here's our motor we bought. I'm not going to tell you guys too much about it just yet. We'll get into that more in our next video. Obviously, it's really exciting. It looks huge. I know it looks huge, but it'll fit.
It looks huge. I know it looks huge, but it'll fit.
So let's see. We have engine, trans, yeah, differential, power plant frame. All that stuff's up in the attic. So we'll have to get that down. So what I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and start working on the engine bay. Let's see, I think I already relatched the hood. So it's pretty clean in here. There's a couple spots that we don't care for, rust. A couple spots in there that aren't super clean, and you can see there's a hole that someone cut. There's another one there. So stuff like that we just want to take care of. We want to clean it up, similar to what we did on our last project. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is start taking out what's left in here, which really is not much at all. Then I'm going to go ahead, get this all out of here, get the wiring harness pulled away, and then I believe that should be it. that's pretty much it for the engine bay. It's fairly easy to take apart. There's like a couple brackets in here. The most important thing that you can possibly do for yourself when you're taking this apart, take pictures and from multiple angles. So, you know, take a picture of just what this side looks like, take a couple things out, take a picture of what the wiring harness looks like, because this is a little bit scary, and that's just for one side of the engine bay. The cool thing about it is most of this stuff is fuse box, which we're actually getting rid of. I don't think we're gonna need most of it. You know, stuff for the engine components, that we're all gonna have to figure out with our other motor and that wiring harness. And then the rest of this stuff, like past here, is pretty much just lights and the headlight actuators. I mean, that's pretty much it. So this stuff, there's a couple things in here that we might keep, but most of it goes. As far as these hard lines, I'm not worried about taking these out right now, just because when you take them out, they come out with the brake booster. I didn't want to mess with the brake booster because you don't need someone else to help you with it, but it's very, very helpful to have someone else hand you tools, because trying to get up under that dash and work on it, it can be kind of a pain. So I'm not going to worry about that right this second. I think it's like 5 bolts, and most of this stuff unclamps and comes out. A couple of these lines you can see get ran down through here, so a couple of them might get painted, or we might tape them off. It's really not a big deal. Honestly, if you paint over them, it kind of keeps everything look a little bit cleaner. But some of the bigger ones, like this one, we can take out because this one's actually just connected with 2 hose clamps at each end. Throttle cable, we'll probably pull that through once we get it off the bracket there. So all this stuff, super simple. Like I said, it's just brackets, headlights, horn. I mean, it's really easy. So we might end up throwing this away actually, because we're probably gonna do hood latches again. I really like the look of the hood latches. And for this, I left in all of these like factory clamps here on all these different spots for the lights. So all this stuff is still in here. This one actually, a lot of these I broke just because they're pretty bad shape. So we'll probably just replace some of these. So this one got broke, that one got broke. I'm not too worried about it, but these ones are nice to keep. You can take them out and replace them, but chances are with plastic as old as this is, it just breaks, so it's not really worth keeping. I believe this is for the headlight, so I don't even know why this is here. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like I said, this side pretty painless. The only thing we're gonna probably keep is this section here. The rest of it's probably gonna go or get tied in somehow in the under the dash in the seating area, I guess. Call it whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. These will probably get capped off. Believe that's for the heat, so those will probably stay. Or one or the other. One's heat, one's for the air. We don't have AC. I believe to get AC, we have to get it off of a. I want to say a Mercedes or BMW. I think it's a BMW air compressor, which really isn't that much more expensive, but we're not too worried about it. So we usually drive around with the top down, so it's not too bad. So this, we just cover this. This will get cleaned. We don't want to paint any of this stuff. All these hard lines, these are going to get covered up with tape or plastic or whatever we decide to do. So, like I said, this gets cleaned. We're not going to paint any of this. We don't want to paint this. All this grease, that'll be cleaned up. We're not worried about that. So that should be it for the engine bay. We'll probably do like another time lapse of the engine bay when we're painting, so you guys get to see kind of the prep work that we do, what we mask off and how we mask it off. And I will explain that. It's really easy to mask this engine bay off. So yeah, this will be up here and we'll start working on it. So wiring harness might come off this week. I'm trying to think if we'll have anything else done with this thing. So that'll be cool to see, starting to get worked on. Like I said, we're going to clean it up a little bit. Obviously, this has been sitting for quite a while. It's got a lot of build up on it, so that stuff's all going to come off.